Greg and Peter, thank you both so much for joining us. We're going to start with Peter. Peter's still the leader of Crawley Borough. Pretty tight run thing after the election. Peter, you've got 17 councillors and the Conservatives have 18. They won significantly more votes than Labour too. So you're still the party in charge and you're still the leader. How come? Does it feel like a proper mandate, though? I mean, I wonder what this speaks of in terms of how Crawley feels about your policies and your abilities in running the council over the last few years. It's not really a vote of confidence.
Well,
Let's talk about what you're going to do now. Clearly, the council is on that knife edge, at least until the next election. Is there an argument that for the good of Crawley, you should strike some sort of agreement with the Conservatives, the like of which you had before May? All the implications economically. Peter isn't the only one who's had a pretty busy time recently dealing with significant issues. Greg, you co-chair the committee of MPs looking at the lessons that need to be learnt from the pandemic. Now, some pretty explosive evidence just over a week ago from the government's former advisor, Dominic Cummings. I think we'll just have a quick look before you ask you about it. Some of the things that he said. Let's start with where he was laying into the Prime Minister. We've boiled down hours and hours of evidence into 30 seconds there. It was a long day for you all, I know. Look, Greg, you've got a really important job here as co-chair of this select committee. You've got to work out what the government got right and wrong. How credible did you find Dominic Cummings' evidence? So on the learning of lessons, let's talk about the very end there, and not something that we've heard it before, these conversations about how damaging what happened in the care homes was. And you heard Dominic Cummings saying, we're supposed to put a protective ring around it, and we essentially did the opposite. Kent had the highest number of care home deaths from COVID of any English council last year. Now, I'm well aware that it's a big county, and that may account for some of this. But that also means there's an awful lot of people in Kent and across the South East who will want answers from what went wrong. Can they expect those from your select committee?
Well, we'll try our best.
Yeah, it's 4 years. I mean, our jaws dropped when we were talking about this in the newsroom, that it is 4 years since Grenfell, and people like Georgina still feel trapped. She feels the government's let her down. It isn't happening quickly, is it? That's the trouble.
I don't think it's happening.
Let's take that point back to Greg Clark. You're talking about further legislation, and you might want to take the opportunity to explain why last month you voted down an amendment that would have forced building owners to remove the cladding within a year. And you're talking about further legislation. All the while, as Peter points out, people are trapped. They can't move. They can't sell their properties.
Well, that is in the Queen's speech, and in fact, I was just looking through it. I think it's 115 pages. So
okay,
it's
okay.
An overdue piece of legislation. I think you're right about the time.
Separate piece of legislation on that. Talking there about stumping up, let's talk about how much money the government is stumping up. An announcement of an extra £1.4 billion to help school pupils catch up with learning and other issues after COVID. The funding was criticised by head teachers right across the country, including Alan Brooks, who chairs the Kent Association of Head Teachers, and described it as wholly inadequate. Alan's joining us now. 1.4 billion. I mean, I heard the Secretary of State for Education saying, when I grew up and where I grew up, that was a lot of money. But you don't think it is? Politicians in, and you can persuade them if they need persuading of this issue. Greg Clark, it does seem shocking when you hear what other countries are spending on, and forgive us, I don't much like the phrase catch up as well, but I think we all know what it means in this context. Are you disappointed by the final figure that the government have gone with at this point in time, given what Sir Kevin Collins was recommending, 10 times as much?